I'm just going to take this out. This is the new FS guide rail system. It comes with a new angle unit. It comes with 2 clamps. It comes with the new connectors. I have them sitting over here. It comes with a new deflector. It comes with a limit stop. We'll be using all of this today, and I did say it comes with 2 clamps. Now the other important part, it comes with this $300 hex key, so don't lose it. Okay, but you can see that that's 5mm and that's turned down to 3mm, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to set it right here. Okay, so let's start first with the simple stuff, and it's simple and it may not be simple, but one of the things we've always seen when someone's using a deflector, well, let me define deflector. It is basically a channel to keep your hose and cord in line, and this is the older version. Okay, so when you were using your track saw before, okay, and you would start it, oops, sorry Chris.
You're fine.
Okay, you see how that's a channel? But what always happens, it used to happen to me so many daggone times, I would start like this and the cord would get caught in that channel. So we listened to you, and here is the new deflector. It goes right in here, and you see how it covers up that other notch right there, that outside rib. So, and these horns are a little bit higher, so now you have a perfect channel for your cord and your hose when you're using your track saw or your router. Okay, so there you go. Boy, I'm gonna tell you something. That's the end of episode 88. I'm just kidding. Wow, that was a quick one. Now these are the new connectors. And what's really important is I want you to understand this. I don't want to say this is a no-brainer, but this is the first one. See where it says 1? That's the first one you put in, and this is the second one. Do you know how you know? That says 1 and that says 2. That 3mm hex that's turned down off that 5mm fits right in there so you can connect rails. Also notice this. These 3mm hexes that go on this rib here act like a stiffener. This one is your alignment one, and what happens is when you turn those 3mm hexes, it spreads out. Okay, so stop there. Let's look at the old ones. When I used to teach people how to put these in, they had these slotted screws. You put one up top, and you put one on the bottom. You tighten 2 screws here, 2 screws here, and you push them together. Okay, now, you always leave a little bit of space in there. Sometimes people ask how big a space. I usually take a business card, fold it in half. Okay, and then what you do, and this is the trick I learned when I first came to Festool. How do you get these to align? It doesn't matter if this back one aligns. And sometimes I would teach people, hey, you put a straight edge here. But sometimes people think a straight edge is a 2x4. Okay? So you want this rib to align absolutely perfect. So that's why I would use this track saw here, put it in, and tighten the 2 knobs. So guess what? It's a no-brainer that would bring that rib together. See? And then what I would do is I would tighten the 2 screws. I turn it over and tighten those 2 screws. Well, that's what this does, the new one. And I'll show you. So you start by flipping it over, taking 2 of them, and look, see that little line right there? I put that right there. And then I take a 3mm hex. I just like using these T's, and I'm just gonna tighten it up. It just makes it a little bit quicker. Okay, and what that does is that's spreading that out. So it locks in, it doesn't damage the rail at all. Lock it in like this, and then I take it, and I still put a very small space in there like this. Okay, and then I tighten it up. That brings that rib in absolutely perfect alignment. And I know I'm doing a halfway decent job because I look over at Big D and he's nodding. Okay, so this is number 2, and you just slide it right in, slide it all the way. It's got a line right there. I bring it right in the middle and tighten it up. And if we had field of vision here, you would see that lines up absolutely perfect. Okay, so those are the new connectors. Yes, they're available separately than the kit. which is also important. You're going to notice, look, 2 countersunk holes here and 2 here. You have these 2 shorter holes in the center, and you have the long rail. So let's talk about the hip. One of the things we heard from you was, hey, I got a couple stacks of sustainers, and I still got to carry this. How do I carry this? Well, that's what that center hole is. It fits over all our handles on all our different generation sustainers. So now I could take this with another stack and go right on the job site. So that's what the center hole is. I'm going to tell you what, maneuvering these around, it's like, I love that. It's a good handhold grab. We have them in 1400 millimeter, and we have them in 1900 millimeter. See that, Chris? 1900. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Good. And it has the same hole configuration. Now, we used to see, and I've done this before, you're on a job site and you have to, I used to counterbore down here and up here, but that's what these counterbores are for. You can screw it into a wall, say you're cutting out some sheathing or whatever, you can just screw it there. But then we have these holes, and I'll show you what that's for. When you get the 1900 rail and the 1400 rail, you get a bag of these. Okay, and what are these? There's 30 of them in here. These are a consumable, and they're adhesive pads. Let me show you how they work. I'll grab a couple out of here like this. There's some great instructions with it. Okay, so you just take it like this, and you see these little nibs. See that? They just flop in there like that. You just got to bend them ever so slightly. You have these little tabs that help you pull them out, but it goes like this, and you just tap them in. Now, boy, I asked this question when I first saw them. How often can you reuse these? I'm going to tell you no, because I have been using these quite a bit, and when I don't want to mar the surface, say I'm cutting a countertop, okay? When you're cutting, there's going to be some dust that floats on the countertop. I used it on a piece of plywood recently. And I said, I'm going to test this. I'm going to see how long or how many cuts I can get after I maneuver these adhesive pads. I cut once, it really held. I cut the second time, and I had some sawdust on top of my plywood. So it all depends on how clean of that area you have. Now, I took one of these the other day, and I took it and I stuck it to the door. And Chris, how long? 48 hours? It was still up there? I had to peel it off. Now, that is just a test by me. I wouldn't leave a rail up on the door for very long, but this is perfect. I don't want to mar this door. I just take this, stick it to the door, right? And I could cut a tea light in there or a window, whatever you want to call it. Follow me? And I don't mar the door. So I'm going to do this really quick, because when you're plunge cutting, you should always use one of these. And this is called the limit stop. And I'm just going to put it in here, and I'm going to set it up just like this. And I want to show you what a limit stop is for. I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to plunge cut here in a vertical position, and I'm going to take those adhesive strips and put them in here just like this. See that? That's how that works. Perfect. Okay? What a limit stop does is when I take my saw and put it on the rail now, you're going to notice this little ledge right here, right? On the saw, let me get this set up. Oh, cool. Wow. All right. I'm going to take it, get my power on there, set my depth, but on the saw, you're going to notice this. As I'm plunging with this TS55, if I didn't have a way of limiting it, it could kick on me a little, because I'm taking that blade and plunging it into that plywood. So what that does is that nestles right in there, right? Okay. Ooh, make sure everything is tight on here. Okay. So I'm going to set my depth, which I have. It's 3/4 material, and that goes right there. So it prevents it from lifting up. It's a real nice safety feature. I'm going to make sure, and I'm just going to do a quick plunge cut so you can see that rail adhesive pad. Remember, when you put a plug-it cord, it's always a full quarter turn. Actually, I'm going to take my outside splinter guard as well. I'm going to push that down there, maximize my dust extraction. And there you go, a perfect plunge cut. And if I want to take those adhesive pads off, I can just take them like this, and there's your perfect plunge cut. So hopefully you understand what the new adhesive pads are for. And what's really cool about this, you can take them, talk to your buddy and go, hey, how you doing? And put them on their back like that. And now he's got sergeant stripes. Okay, good. All right, we don't have the other camera today. You should see it looks cool. Garrett's back here. Show Garrett, he's losing it. Oh my God. Okay, this is a variable angle track saw square, if that's the right, it's an angle unit, but if that's the right way to describe it. You're gonna notice here's your locking knob. This is how it locks. I'm gonna show you how it goes on the rail. But in here, I want you to see these detents. Okay, because you have positive stops at all the popular angles. But I'm gonna bring it into 0 like this, and I'm going to make sure it goes in that detent, and I'm gonna lock it in. Whew, this is a fun one. I was so excited to use this. I'm going to slide it in like here. Okay, you're gonna see this little T-nut. I'm gonna take it and rotate it. Just like this. I'm gonna bring it in and I'm gonna look in here. There's a little viewing windows or areas. I'm just bring it in there, up against there. And I'm gonna take this and that locks it, okay, because that's ground right in here to the rail. Now, what I always do is I chuck it up on the rail because I have rails back here that I've taken and I've set down and this dinged, okay? And when I lock this on here, it canted a little. So what I always do is I move it up to a nice area and just verify if there's any dings in my rail here. All right, so it's that simple, all right? There's a lot of times I just take it up, I want a 90, I bring it here and make a cut, and you see how I'm holding it? But, of course, we always make adjustments, or see that little notch in there? I could take that, and you see how I put the clamp in here like that? I'm gonna turn it over, and I can clamp that, just like that. Chris, you getting that? Mm-hmm. Always viewing that, good view? Good. And I can lock it in. Now, when I clamp it, I make sure it doesn't move off my material. And I'm just gonna swing over here, and grab my saw and make the cut. It's that simple, it really is. But I'll show you some other features on it in a moment. And there you go. But what if you want a 22-degree angle? I'm gonna remove my clamp, okay? I'm gonna take this clamp off. I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna move it to 22.5 and I'm gonna lock it in. Now, I'm going to take it like this. I'll bring it right where I want that cut. And sometimes that notch underneath on the fence doesn't align exactly and it's tough to get this in. So what I like to do, and that's why we have these notches, whether I go this way or swing it this way, you'll see the scale swings both ways. I'm just gonna lock it in, making sure my fence is up against there, and I can cut 22.5 wicked quick, just like this. And it's all locked in, nice and straight. So it's a variable angle rail clamp is the best way to describe that. So I'm gonna just loosen it up, take my clamp off, and show you a couple more things on here because everybody wants to know what these are. I'm just gonna bring it back to 0. The measurement here is, I believe, 12 millimeter. So I can actually take that and look, it sits right on top of your MFT and it doesn't bottom out on your MFT if I'm cutting 3/4. Now these, I've seen a few people struggle with them. You just push them off like this, okay? And what these are for, follow me over here, Chris. What if I'm cutting a countertop or a tabletop that has a big radius on it? Come over here so you can see this beautiful particle board countertop here that I got the other day. All right, so this is why you have those dogs. Watch, if I'm going like this, it stands a chance. There's not enough fence on there. It rolls up. So I could take these dogs, as I call them, and I can slip them in this channel. What this does it extends the length of this. So now I have it fully supported, and it's a really nice cut. Just take it like this, bring it in like this. You know what? I need to clean that up. I'm gonna make the cut. There we go. What's the thickness of that? Oh, I'm gonna go a little bit deeper. You know what? I'll just go for it here. Bring this over. I'll use the cordless on this. Bring it right in. See how those pods are right up against there? It's truly supported. Take it, make the cut. My depth wasn't perfect, so I can come back. That's the beauty of the track saw, I think. I could take that, add a little more depth, and just clean that up. Look at that. There's no deviation because that track saw cuts right on that line. Where do I start? We had a little get together last night and we were showing the new TPC. This is our wood, steel, and hammer drill all in one. Okay, we've always had one. It was called the PDC, and I'm gonna put this out because I'm gonna show you all the killer upgrades on it. Okay, the handle's longer. I'm gonna talk about the handle. You rotate it like this. I'm gonna take off, it comes with an all steel chuck, but I'm gonna rotate that and it comes right off. Okay, this is really nice. It has that Central Tech feel to it. It has this little rib here that goes right in here, and it's really nice, so check that out. Okay, so let's talk about a few differences. One of the calls I used to get all the time on this unit right here was, explain this. Somebody was here this morning before we started live and said, this confuses me. I go, guess what? It won't anymore because now we came up with this. We simplified it, okay? I'm gonna go through this so you can see it. If you're drilling wood or steel, it's in drill mode. If you want to go to hammer, now you have a concrete drill, but I have a way of explaining that better. I'm going to go back to drill, okay, and watch the fast fix stub. It doesn't really push in, right? I'm going to switch it over to hammer. Now look at it. See how it goes all the way in? And you see that movement in there? A hammer drill rotates the bit. Chris, come up here really quick so you can see this. A hammer drill spins like this, but when you push it, it goes back on a cog system like this, and it vibrates the tip of the bit right here. Okay, so hey, let's do a little demo on that so you can see it. As I go through it, you'll see. I'm just going to take this here. Okay, the other new feature, instead of this, you see this switch here going back and forth? It was lateral like this. This here, you have one, okay, and I always explain this about a drill. When you're in low RPM, you have more torque, okay? 2, it's a lot faster. 3, do you see how I did that? You can actually go diagonal, but when you switch this new gear system, don't do it while it's running, okay? And then when you have it in 4, which is good, you get about 3,600 RPM. Look how fast that spins. Cool? Okay, I'm going to put this on here, and you're going to hear this morning when we were using this was wailing on this concrete block. But one of the other highlights we were showing today was this. This is our, and we've always had it, this is our dust extraction nozzle with a 1/2-inch aperture here. So when I take this, beauty of Bluetooth, right? I have this here. And yes, I'm going to hear that noise in my sleep tonight, but it's effective because you're vibrating that carbide tip. The other thing to remember about the nozzle is when you're doing anchors like this, right? Or you're drilling for an anchor, what are you going to do if you don't have dust extraction? You have to go back out, and I've seen people on job sites, they blow out the hole, right, with a compressed air, and that goes all the way up in the air. Or they backtrack, they drill it first, and then they come by, right, and you have to do this. This gets the dust all the way out of the hole. That's an accessory, by the way, but I wanted to show you that. So that is just some of the basic things with the new drill. Oh, somebody asked this about the nozzle. Yes, it works on wood. Okay, and yes, it works on the side, it works vertical. So it's a great drill accessory. I thought I'd highlight it a little bit today because I don't want to have Chris clean up for hours afterwards. Okay, good. So you all know about our Central Tex, right? It has that elongated hex, right? It fits back in the spindle, so you have great transfer of torque from the battery through the motor and out to the tip. And we have the Central Tex. Okay. Man, I'm getting there, everybody. Hang tough. So you have that, but you're going to notice if you've owned one of these or no, I'm going to turn the light off, and I'll get to that in a few minutes. You're going to notice you don't have these nibs here. Okay, and I'm going to pull this off so you get a better look at it. Okay, but you still have this cog system. So, hopefully I'm explaining this correctly. These nibs, and when somebody was looking at this last year, year before, you were very well known for our different fast fix chucks. In fact, this is what we call the fast fix stub, but what a lot of people don't know is you can actually use that as a takeoff. And I've seen some people get in tight spots with that, but I'll leave it there. Okay. So, everybody loved this concrete drill, but this did not work with it. We had a proprietary drill chuck that went on here like this, and man, it was always, for me, it was always two-handed, but I would get it on there and I would find the cogs, and there's your right angle. But once again, it didn't take this. So along comes the TPC, and guess what? Now you can use the Eccentric chuck, and this is a beautiful chuck. This is the new upgrade. I think I've gone through it already on a Festool Live, but the old Eccentric chuck and right angle chuck, you'd have to take the screen ring and loosen it and move it. Not anymore. You lock the gray ring, and now at 16 positions around the horn, every 22.5 degrees, you have the ability to get within a 1/4 inch of any wall or any tight spot. So there you go. So right angle's the same way. Locks in, and you can swivel it like this. Now, you're probably asking online, hey, I have a T18, I have a C18. Will these new ones fit on it? Absolutely. So I thought I'd cover it. Now, some of you, Tim, may have one of these, right? And if you get a new one, guess what? Even this, we made retrofit, and that's why we have those cogs on there. Okay, we didn't want to leave you out. Cool.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome, Tim. Cool. All right. It comes with an all-steel chuck, very heavy duty. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get this handle on just in case. I don't want to go for a walk. Hey, here's a new feature. You can't see it on here. All right? But some of you probably know or have probably encountered this. I know I have. You're working with a really big bit or a hole saw, okay? And you're using the drill and it catches, right? Man, you twist your wrist, right? Well, this new feature is anti-kickback, and you'll see it blinking right here. It resets itself, okay? It shuts off, and then it resets itself. Okay, so there's less tendency to twist your wrist. It's a killer safety feature. All right, so we're going to drill a few screws or a few holes with these auger bits, but I want to show you this clutch. It's an electronic clutch. You reach its max. Let me just do this. I'll get my Central Tech on, just like this. I'll put this in, and I'm going to get this small screw, okay? Okay, and let's get it started. Chris, can you come over here? So I'm going to get this, and as I do this, and let me get it started. Okay, so down here, Chris, if you can see this. Okay, the lower the setting, but hopefully you can hear this, it's beeping. Okay, that's telling me I need, what, not more torque, but I need to put it in drill mode. Okay? And that just sinks it effortlessly, and that's in speed number 2. So there's just a couple of tips. Also, Chris, come in here. See how it's in drill mode? And watch the light. Okay, it cycles off. Some people don't want a light. That's what that is. It's always in drill mode, not in clutch mode. And then you have this one where you can leave it on just like that for an extended period of time. It'll shut off in about a half hour, okay? So you don't wear down the battery. So think about this. It's a regular wood and regular steel drill, okay? It's a hammer drill, but we also include this flashlight on it. The value never ends. Okay, never mind. It's a constant on. It's not really a flashlight. Okay, good. And that will just cycle off like that, and you're back to where that shuts off just ever so slightly. Okay? Hopefully everybody understood that. So let's get a decent sized bit in there. Oh. Remember, don't hit the screw you've already applied. So I'm going to take that. I have it in drill mode, but I know in 2, about halfway through, it's going to beep on me. So I'm going to put it in 1 right away. Now, somebody says, boy, that drill's really wailing through it. This is a fairly dull bit. I got this years ago, and it's about 12 years old, but you're going to see how that was effortless. Hey, Chris, you want me to touch you with this bit? No. Okay, good. All right. I don't know. I think I've covered everything. Oh. Wait. It comes with a belt hook. And you know what? Some people don't like belt hooks. So you can take it and take a screw right off, or you can switch sides. So it's a well put together drill with a handle, the anti-kickback design, the new gearbox, which is effortless. You can drill in wood, steel.
What does it come with in sustainer?
There's different levels. Okay, but what a lot of people are looking and walking away today with, they're combining. We have a kit with the impact and the TPC, and I think that's around $600. I think. So
it's not much more expensive.
No, it's not. And people were looking at the impact, and then I showed them this.
Can you get 2 belt clips?
I don't know. Yes. Well, supplies last.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Yeah, of course you can. You can order one in the parts department. Does anybody else have any questions?
Storage screwdriver bits on there.
Oh, that's a great question, Tim. You mentioned that to me today, didn't you? Somebody did. They love this about it. It has magnetic. I was going to go home today and go, I didn't talk about the magnetic bit storage. This is a great feature. And as simple as things are with, it may look simple on the tool. It's the little things I've always taught people about Festool, but that's magnetic in there. And if you look in here, it's really easy to take off. It's not a snap-in, and there's 2 ramps either there or there, and the bit always stays there. So that's another great feature. Does anybody else have any questions? Big D, you painted. You're writing stuff down? Cool. Bring it over. We're getting ready to wrap, I think.
All right, baby.
Cool. So, Big D did the whiteboard today.